Well, you might not believe this, but it's February. It's really sunny, not a breath of wind. We've had a frost this morning, but it must be 10-12 degrees at least today. And I'm on the canal, I'm on the banks of the Oxford Canal, and I've just got casters and pinkies with me, a bit of ground bait and a few worms. I'm going to try and catch what I can on pinkies and hopefully catch some slightly better fish on casters. But that's what we're fishing with today, pinkies and casters. And we're just going to have a nice sort of late afternoon session really. It's 2 o'clock now and I've only just got here, so I haven't got a lot of fishing time, but we'll fish till the light starts to drop. It might be a bit too sunny for the quality fish, but we'll see. But I'm quite confident of catching a few fish. Let's just see if we can try and winkle out some quality fish amongst the smaller ones on the pinkies. So but let's see how we get on, and I'm quite looking forward to this.
Right, under the seat I've just got some rigs. Now I've been tied up some nice little I think they're Dino Drallions. These are, I think they're a census or desk Burke. Got some of my old Mojos and some heavier floats if I'm fishing big bits of worm, some of my Hulks, and I've got some prototype floats I want to try out today as well. So I've been using from Pablo RWC floats, so I'm really keen to be using those today as well. So that's what I'm going to be starting on. We'll see what else we need once we've plumbed up. Right then, this is all the bait I've got today. You can see I've got some pinkies. These are at least 5 weeks old, at least, and they're still going strong. Then I've got some casters. These are lovely home turn casters with a skin. There we are. And I've got a few worms, and then I've got some dark roachy ground bait. This is Dynamite Frenzied Hemp, just a nice fine canally mix. It's a very slight left to right pull, I can see. I'm just going to feed just a little nugget, pinch of loose pinkies on top, just a very small pinch, and then a bit more loose on top again. Massive fan of feeding loose ground bait. I'm going to feed this top kitten one straight in front. It's a little marker I've found on the far bank on the horizon. There we are. Right, and that's where I'm going to start. Maybe for 5 minutes, maybe for 20 minutes, depends if there's anything there. Still got the rest of my rigs to set up, to be honest, but I just want to feed and then get on with the business of getting all my rigs and everything ready. So same again for the bottom of the bar shaft where it's 4 foot. One lightly squeeze ball. I don't want it to go into any silt if there is any, and then I'm just going to cap the rest off with loose ground bait. I'm going to put loads of pinkies in at the moment. That's it, just capped off. To be honest, because it's so late in the day, I'm going to wait for that motorbike. I'm just going to feed the one, and then a much smaller amount, just very lightly squeezed, and a little bit of loose, and a few pinkies up the shaft, and that's it. I can actually see it fizzing away. It's pretty much where I fed, so that's good. And that's just tight to the reeds. Probably about 60 centimetres further, but there's a foot difference there. There is quite a pronounced slope. And then the last spot is a little dollop of worm. And I don't know, 20-30 casters, maybe 40, and that's all I'm going to put there. No ground bait. In my experience, these quality fish can be a bit wary of ground bait. Skimmers will come over it, but the roach, not necessarily. So where was that swim? That swim was forgotten. No, it was there on that little turret. Out the way. And what I'm going to do, right tight to the reeds, just a pinch more, and I'm just going to loose feed between the two after that. So I class that, what's that, 20 casters again? So I've got two spots. Again, it's about a metre apart. Tight to the reeds and down the shaft. Sometimes you want to be tight to the reeds, especially perch and things. If the skimmer's about, in my experience, they generally want to be in the deeper water. And I tend to find if there's any number of predators about, the fish don't always want to be in the reeds because that's where the predators are. So that's our swims fed. I've got a short pole line with groundbait and pinkies. I've got a straight in front, sort of 9 and 10 metres groundbait and pinkies, and then to my left, sort of 10 and 11 metres with casters. That's it. For me, that's how I would feed a lot of canal swims. The only thing we haven't fed is any bread. So again, I could have fed bread up that way, I could have fed bread short, but I've done a lot of bread fishing lately. I just want to fish pinkies, groundbait, casters, maybe a bit of worm. Okay. Right, I've got all my rigs together now. Look, fish just topped under the surface there. Oh, and another one. There, roach just under the surface. Wow. I thought I saw him scatter earlier. So there's a predator working it. All I'm doing at the moment, other than getting excited because I've seen a fish under the surface, could be big bleak. There's a lot of bleak in this bit because of the river being so near. I've just been flicking 5 or 6 casters over my left hand swim, and I don't care where they go really. They're just feeding sort of between the two swims really. I don't want to go in the reeds if I can help it, but just feeding the rough area really. And then again, I'm feeding, sort of aiming for the bottom of the shallow swim. Look, another fish just topped then. And hoping there's a bit of overspray between the two there. So that's that. Let's feed a few more pinkies there. They're not topping where I've fed, but... and then we'll go for the rigs. So right, let's start with my lightest rig. It's a 0.2 prototype float, Pablo RWC float. That's on 010 line. So I've got a strong bulk of number 11s, 3 number 13 droppers, 07 hook length, and a 22 hook fine wire hook. That's for fishing single pinky. My casters, my light caster swim, same float, and that's got an 08 hook length and an 18 black nickel. That's for caster fishing, and that's a 4 elastic. The other one's a 3. Oh yeah. Then my final rig, I've got a 0.2 Pablo RWC hook, and that takes 6 number 10s, and that's going down to an 010 hook length and a 16 MXB2, and that's on 6 to 8 slick. Now that's my sort of heavy rig that I can fish heavily with caster or worms. I'm not expecting anything massive, not expecting chub or tench or carp or anything. So I'm hopefully going to catch quality perch, maybe an odd big roach, big skimmer on that. But I'm confident on an 010 hook length I'll get anything out, and a 16 hook I can fish a nice big bit of worm. So that's it. So it's quite a light, heavy rig. I could go even heavier. I could have like a 14 or a 12 hook for a big half a lob worm or something like that, and even beefier elastic. If this was a match, I'd probably set up a really beefy rig, and also at the other end of the scale, I might set up a really nice, really light, strung out rig to fish off the deck a bit with pinkies. So, but 3 rigs: a light pinky rig, 22 to 07, and a 3 elastic. I've got a light caster rig, an 18 to 08 bottom, and a 4 elastic, and then I've got a heavy rig, a 16 to 010 and a 6 to 8 slick elastic. So that's it. So we'll feed one more time and we'll keep cattying a little bit, and don't want to get too giddy too quick. It's nice to get it prime. If we are going to catch 10-pounder fish, then we need to feed for that, so we might just catch 2 or 3-pounder fish. Right, so I am ready. This is my very first look. I'm going to start short, single pinky. Try and find a relatively fat one. Not too shriveled up, considering they're 5 weeks old. They're not too bad. That's wriggling nice. Sun's out. And probably fed this for 10 minutes. Playing above my head. See that on the camera or not? Let's see if we can get it. Oh, that was a bite. Oh, that was on the drop. It's a great sign. There's definitely some fish there. Give it 10 seconds, then we'll lay the rig back in again. No, we won't. We'll inspect the hook bait. That makes more sense, doesn't it? Ooh. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, it's been smashed. Look at that. Great sign. Let's see what it is. Another pinky. Lay it in. Might not be able to lay it in sideways if it's particularly good. Feed 2 lots of 5. There you are, look, it's going, it's going, it's going. What we got? It's like I said, it's got an underslung mouth. That's a bleak. It's going in the net, whatever it is. Not what we was after, but shows us some fish about. Lay it in properly. Look, a few casters on that line. See, I'm being busy right from the off. Not feeding loads, just pinches of bait, constantly getting it falling in, trying to attract fish and hopefully get them to get confident and positive. My thoughts are there's probably a few little bleak about and not a lot else on that line. Whoop. What's that? Oh, it's more roachy. Yeah, that's a roach. Different species. Little tiny roach. I'm hoping there's some bigger fish than that about. And that's laying it outwards again. So yeah, lay it out that way. Need a little pinch. 4 pinkies. Probably 8 to 10 on that line. I just feel that we're going to catch some fish. That's dragging away. And got it. You notice I'm not breaking down either. That's a little roach again. Oh no, that's a little underslung mouth. That's a bleak. Don't know my species. A lot of people are surprised to see bleak on the canals, but this canal's got a lot of them in around this area. And the other bit that I used to catch a lot on was on the Lower Canal. And just a couple of bits. Another canal that joins the river. But technically these fish are all up. I bet if I fish like 2 foot deep I'd probably catch a few more. But I'm deliberately fishing full depth to see if there's anything better underneath them. Let's just try a little bit off the deck. A couple of inches. I noticed quite a bit of wispy green weed on the bottom when I was plumbing up. I also brought some dead reeds in. So the bottom's obviously a bit rubbishy. We've had a hell of a lot of floodwater tramming through this particular stretch here. So probably 1.5 inches, 2 inches off the deck. Quicker bite and a better fish. Might be a perch. No, it's a roach. No, it's not. Looks like a chub. It's a chub. Wow. Look at that, a little chub. Coming off the bottom. Just a few more little bleak. No more chub. But if there's a chub or a few chublets about, or perch, I want to know about it. So I'm going to fish most of a dendra, just with the head nipped off. I'm going to have a quick look over where I fed that little bit of worm. There's a lot of fish on worms will gorge themselves, so I don't want to waste too much time short when there might be some nice fish on a deeper caster swim. So I'm just going to lay that in. Look a few more casters over the top. Watch it for a few seconds and a few pinkies there. So I always like to have an early look on worm. A lot of fish will, if they are hungry, they'll gorge themselves on that worm, so it's important to get in there before they've ate it all. And if there's a bream or two about, you'll know about it. There's a big 2-pound perch in the area. It's nice to get that out of the peg. Well, next throw the dice, try a little bit of worm. If nothing, then we'll go on to the, we'll keep priming it with casters and we'll go on to the Pinkie line. I spend a little bit more time on these lines than if it was a match. If it was a match, I wouldn't hang around long at all. Just half a dozen Pinkies. There's no harm to keep a few going in on that shorter line. You never know. And we'll just flick a few more casters. Not even a wobble on that. So a little chuck around with a tiny piece of worm, which is like an inch long bit. Not going to waste too much time on this. If they were there, you'd catch them, I think, pretty quick. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, nothing on that. Not too surprised. So I'm going to let's go on the long Pinkie line. Wow, that's exactly what I was hoping for. First drop. Nice little chunky Pinkie roach. He'll do, won't he? First drop. Great sign. Hopefully that's recording. Yep. Keep them Pinkies going in. Get them revved up. Not feeding many at all. Ooh, got one of those, eh? You can step up the amount if we get bleaked out. Nearly escaped that one. And we can, if we get bleaked out too much, we can start bulking the rig and doing things like that. Not normally a massive problem. I should be able to feed those off. Ooh, straight away, another bleak. Yeah, bleak, bleak, bleak. Don't tend to catch those on bread, so that would have possibly been a better starting option. But with bread you don't catch perch, you don't always catch skimmers on bread, but you do on Pinkies. So let's just keep rattling the bait in and seeing what happens. There's clearly a few fish there, so I'm probably feeding 20, 30 now. Pushing it into the bank that way this time. Pushing it against the slope. See what I'm going to feed before I catch a bleak. This is a funny bite. Doesn't feel like a bleak. We got perch. 4 species. That's the beauty of fishing something wriggly. You catch everything, where if you just fish bread, you just catch roach and maybe an odd skimmer. Used to be full of goods in this place, but they've long gone. Nothing. So what we'll do, come a little bit shorter than what we have been fishing, probably 8 inches, so we're a little bit off the bottom. We're using that slope to our advantage. Oh. That one pulled the elastic out on the way. Big bleak, herring bleak. Cook that one up. Apparently it's supposed to be very good fish for eating. I have to take their word for it, whoever told me. Oh, there was a big bleak, wasn't it? Right, I'm going to go and fish the shallower of the two swims. Ooh. Boater below me's just put his generator on, so he might be able to hear that. Alright, so we are fishing 3 foot now. Push it right up to the reeds, just see if that's where the roach want to be. I'm convinced there's roach there, but at the moment I think the bleak are hungrier. Another roach. Nice, eh? Nice and busy fishing. Oh, micro perch. And even though that's not damaged, I've always found after you've caught a perch, you should change it. Roach don't seem to like a pinky when a perch has had it, even if it's not damaged. The roach I've had a thought laying it in that way with the flow, so we'll do that again. Feed. Might not get time to feed the caster swim. No, we did. That feels better. What's that? That made it all the way to the bottom, and it's the best fish of the day. I'm going to net it. Nice roach. He's a nice fish. See, got to persevere with that feed. Keep it going in. He won't coming off. Yeah. Cracker. Ooh, yep. Again, laying it in. Just spending a bit more time swinging the rig round so the hook bait's to my right. I've had all my roach that way. Laying it in the other way doesn't seem so clever. It's nice to find little patterns. What I'll do is feed a few pinkies short still. That'll hopefully pull some of those bleak away as well. If we can thin the bleak out, we'll catch more roach. Yep. Big bleak. Alright, first look on the caster. And I've buried it completely. Size 18 in there. I've been feeding very regularly, but literally 4, 5, 6 casters. We can always step it up if there's any amount there, but I think if we just started pouching in 20, 30 casters all the time, you'll kill it before you've even started. Just try and assess what's there before we do anything else. At the moment there's nothing there. Lay it in that way this time. Hold it nice and tight so it's falling as slowly as possible. Hopefully a roach will just follow it down and take it. So really hanging on to that float now. Some days you'll only get a bite when you do that. But I'm fishing as light as I dare with a caster, 08 to an 18, with a buried caster. So I'm confident that if there is even a shy roach there, I'm confident I'm fishing light enough to catch it. So it's not my rig that's the problem. Okay, let's get back on the pinkies. is a dace. That is a dace. Nice dace as well. Happy dace are here again. So what's that? 6 species. All on the pinkies. Nothing on my casters yet. But even them, that size of dace should have a caster. I'm pushing it towards the slope now. A lot of people lay it in sideways and it's only a bit. I'm laying it in against the slope. It gets the rig in the peg faster as well, and it's also following the contours of the slope nicer as well. Didn't expect to be catching chub, dace and bleak today. A little chunky roach. Oh, I could catch 5 or 6 pound of these, I think. A few bonus fish would be nice. Let's come shallow up again. See if they're off the deck. Shallow right up now. Nice long line as well above the float. Probably notice. Keep that pole tip away. Also just helps you swing the rig around wherever you want it. No need for an ultra short lash as if it was F1 fishing. A little roach. Bleak have disappeared for a little bit. Definitely more bleak going shallower. So let's try making a much more positive rig. I'm going to bulk down. I'm going to go back to 4 foot. Bulk it right down. Bring those droppers down. So 3 number 13s and 1 dropper. If this was a match, you'd have a separate bosh-in rig for this. Some days it's better to be mega positive like that. Almost like an old school gudgeon rig. See if that makes a difference. Yeah, a little hybrid. To wait a little bit longer, but for a better fish. Sometimes just about weighing up what you can catch. Sometimes it's just about having a few goes like this and then swapping to being strung out again. Just work it. Work really hard. Keep changing it about. I'm going to bosh that straight down again. This time I'm going to feed my caster swim first. Keep that primed. Definitely waiting longer. We'll see what happens when it goes under though. Whether it's a better fish. Snaffled it on the bulk rig. Another perch. I'm back to the strung out rig because they didn't really seem to want that bulk. But what I'm doing now is really, I'll be giving them a good 40 plus pinkies at go now. Just to see if that's going to help get through to those roach underneath. Always trying to catch more fish, or quicker or bigger. Oh, I was about to say I've gone from getting a fishy chuck to not getting a bite, but after pouching it in. There's another big bleak. So one more go. Doesn't seem right, big pouch in it, but these are learning sessions as much as anything else. Don't like doing the same thing all the time, so we'll keep pouching it in for a little bit just to see, and then we'll drop it back down to sort of 10 to 12 again at a time. bite, but they're finicky here. Obviously there's less competition now because I'm feeding a lot more bait, as you might expect. Sometimes the roach will come into that. Today I feel like it's had the opposite effect, so we can try around the periphery as well. But at this point in time I've had nothing going away from the feed, around the feed. Everything's been right in the feed, even the roach I've had. Tiny stuff. Sometimes you just got to come off them for a little bit. So we'll do that, we'll go back on the caster. Well, that was my first little dink on the caster then. First little look back on it. Definite little dink and another little dink. Could be those bleak having a go. My other camera, I think, it's packed in because it's overheated, and this one is red hot. Can't believe both my GoPros are overheating today in this blazing sunshine we've got in February. What's all that about? Lovely weather for sitting in, not the best of weather for trying to catch quality fish on casters. Right, no fish down in the 4-foot caster swim, so we've pushed it up the shelf on the overspray to 3 foot. Right, I've actually got 3 pinkies on my caster rig over my pinky swim. Just to see. Picked up all that weed, which tells you there's a lot of crap on the bottom. Might explain why they're not having the caster. Maybe they maybe just don't like being on the bottom with all that horrible weed. Right, we've not had anything on the caster or worm line, so we're going to put another dollop of worm in. Decent dollop of casters. Pinch of pinkies. Let's live on the edge. A little bit of ground bait as well. Just see what we can force onto that line. I'm not going to loose feed over it now. I'm just going to leave it for half an hour. Just to see. Get back on the pinky swim. Oh, a little roach. Thought that was a bleak. Not bad for 5-week-old pinkies, is it? Well, I thought I'd got a big one then. Yeah. Oh yeah. Look at that. Are we filming? Yes. Look at that for a quality stick fish. Stick, 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 sticky, sticky, stick, stick. I've gone Pinkie over my positive line. One of the best roach I've had. There's a few there then. But you know, they might go on the caster in a minute. I've just lightly hooked a caster on my Pinkie rig, very lightly in the pointed end. Yeah, little roach, I think. Ah, maybe not quite so little. So they are having the caster. You see what I'm doing? I'm just hooking it really lightly in the point. Some days when it's rock hard, you catch like that when you won't catch with an 18 or a 16 buried inside. Don't ask me why. So there are some caster roach about, just not loads, and they're not huge. Some days you'll go in with caster and they're like, you know, 4 to 12 ounce fish, and your pinky fish are all half an ounce or an ounce fish. You know, there's a massive difference sometimes. All right. There we are. Better one. Bit roachy. Nice little roach. Two more like that and we'll go. We'll go a very happy and content man. Just nice to be able to catapult some bait. Get away from that log. Oh, he's gone around the log. Oh, I'm going to net the log and the fish. Hey, you got it. Better to be lucky than good. Right, it's a nice dumpy one. One more like that and I'll be more than happy. A day's pinky fishing.
A nice hard-earned February net of fish, all on the pinky, other than a few on the caster, and we've got about that much left as well. Just a handful of pinkies left. Still got half our casters left. Whoop, Mr. Chubb's already going back. You can go straight back. There you are, Mr. Chubb. But yeah, not a bad day. Plenty of bleak as well, which is a bit of a surprise. 6 different species, some nice chunky roach, nothing massive. No, none of them quality bonus fish that I was hoping on the caster, but nice to get some bites on the pinkies. So let's slip these back.